So hi guys, my name is Tashi and I'm a Flutter developer here, and in this presentation we are going to have some idea about how to have booking application. We are not going to implement from the scratch, but we will have a idea about how booking application worked, and then real-time tracking, searching direction location, and then get a direction between this, right? So I won't be giving much about introduction since we already know how Ridde works, right? So probably most of you guys already used. So yeah, so this is what we will be building. So I'll start with what are the features that we'll be covering. So first, what we will do, we'll try to add a Google map. So obviously we need a Google map to track location and all, right? So first we'll try to add Google map in the Flutter application, and then what we will do, we'll try to select the pickup and drop location, right? So this is what our application will do. Once we have that ready, then we can go to the direction API. So once we select, as you can see, we have given an example BDM layout and Kodmangala. And once we have select this, then you can see the direction API, right, from BDM to Kodmangala, right? Then when that is done, then we can simply click on the book, right, to get the notification. So this is a driver app. So driver will get this kind of notification like ride request received. Then driver can either accept or cancel the request, right? If driver accept it, then we can have a real-time tracking. So as you can see, driver the scooter icon which you are seeing here, it's basically represent the driver approaching, all right? So these are the 5 major features which we will be covering in this talk. So as I said, we will not be covering from the beginning, like creating Flutter project and all. So you should have a little bit idea about the Flutter, and I am expecting the same. Then here we have a consumer application which is sort of a template. All the UI is already done, so the logic we will be implementing, and then the same partner application. And yeah, then the backend, I think most of you you might have used Firebase, but in this we will be using Spring Boot as a backend and WebSocket to have real-time communication, right? Yeah, so this will be our prerequisite. Then what we will learn from here, so not just the application, we will also learn how Google Map Flutter, how we can use Flutter Google Map in our Flutter application. Then the Riverport as well. So how many of you use Flutter Riverport in your application? Can you raise your hand? No? Okay, great. Because based on that, I can give some context. If no one have used, I can explain more about Flutter Riverport. If you have idea, then I don't need to go much deep. Okay, fine. So we have a few. What about the Flutter block? Great. And then provider. I think most of you have some idea about provider. Fine. So what we will be doing, we will be using Flutter Riverport, and we will have, I think in the evening, we have more talk about the Flutter Riverport. You will get more idea about that. But yeah, in this case, we will be using Flutter Riverport. It's basically, I mean, those who don't know, it's a improved version, enhanced version of provider. So it's easy to understand, so I can say. Then we have HTTP, I think everyone knows, to call a network. And then we have a Flutter polyline point, which can draw the line. So if we have a 2 direction, we need to make sure what from the path, right? That we'll be using Flutter polyline point. And the last point, storm.client. So to communicate with Flutter app with a WebSocket, right? We need to, I mean, either you can do all work by yourself, or we can use some sort of package like storm.client to communicate between Flutter app and the backend tool, that is Spring Boot, right? So we'll be using this 3, 4, 5 package to make it work. And yeah, so what happened here is this is the application architecture. Here you can see we have a writer, which is a Flutter app, and here this is a user application, again is a Flutter. What happens is that first we will be in the user app. We will call an API to the Google to get the place and directions. Once we get the place and direction, we can simply send request to Spring Boot, and from Spring Boot it will send the same request to writer, where we will get the write request, right? Once writer either accept or reject, again it will go back to the server, right, which is Spring Boot. Then server will send same, driver has accepted your request, and now they can, I mean, continue with the trip, right? So this is how our application works. Now coming to the next slide, as you can see, we have this is our project structure. You can see here on the top view, which is a UI screen and widget. Then we will be triggering the event. So here as a state for the state management, we will be using Riverport. So you can have you can have all this state structure. So you can see this is a Riverport. So we can also use provider, Flutter block, any state management, but we will be using Riverport. Then from UI to state we will trigger even, then send request to the repository, and then repository to Google API, or we have a Spring Boot, so Spring Boot same thing, and then we will get the response back to the UI. So this is our application, you can say application structure. And then on the here you can see we have this project structure. So screen widget will be the project structure for the UI, and then the state, and then data model repository will be here. Okay. All right. So we will be now with this we'll be working on the application side. So let me just close this for a bit, and I'll start opening. Here you can see we have a two application. I think phone is small. Let's hold on. So the first one is Ridde partner, which is a partner application which we won't be touching it. We'll just run it. And the bottom one we can see the Ridde application, which is user application. So we will be using that. Okay. So let me just open both of it first. All right. So I will run emulator. So this close. Okay. Wait, let me just increase the font a bit. It's not here. Preference. Yep. 16. I guess this is fine, right? Okay, so let's run the application. Let me just grab this. I'll run the emulator. Here. Okay, fine. So this is the one, and this is the second one. Alright, so you can see here it's a Ridde application, is a user application, and then here you can see Ridde partner, it's a partner application. Alright, so what I'll do, I'll just run the our skeleton application. So hold on, this Ridde is hold on. And also we need to run our backend application as well. So I'll just go to terminal and it's overlaying. So we should. Alright, so this is Spring Boot application. I'm just running it. So it's, you can see it's already running. Let me just minimize it. We won't be touching the backend. And let's run our this one. Okay, this is some issue with this Ridde. Okay, this is a one thing, and this is a partner application which. All right, let's wait for some time to run our application. I'm just running our default project, which is whatever written on there, just a UI and some project structure. So let me just reduce this Ridde partner. Okay, so let's just keep it down. Okay, while it is running, let's discuss about how we have structured the project. You can see let me just extend it. So data here, right? We have a model. So you can see there are a few class here. There is direction dot and all that stuff. So this direction is a model class. Let me just open it again. So let me go down. So it's a model class, so we don't have any logic, just a model class. So this is direction is to get the direction between the 2 points, right? And then the place detail, to get a detail of the place, latitude and longitude, we will be using this Google place detail. It's again a model class, there's no logic and such thing. Then we have a Google play, suggested place. We will get the list of place which will be using this as a Google suggested place, and the ride request detail. So when we book and ride, we need to get the detail about the ride, right? Whether it's latitude, longitude, and all that stuff. So this is a basic model class we will be using. So and then after that we have a repository, right? So let's come back to the repository. You can see now if you hold on. If you have used provider, you might have a bit idea, but this is how Riverport works. So to get the access to the repository, right? You can see at the repository provider dot, you can see this is a Google place report. The moment you write this code, right, repository provider, you will get the repository access. Now whatever you want to do, you can just click on the dot, and then you can see get place list by query, get place detail by ID, get direction and all. Now this is the interface which make our application much more cleaner and error prone. So you can see implementation is written right below here. So you can see we have a get place list by query. We have the method called get place list by query, but right now it doesn't have anything because we will be implementing it. Same thing, get place detail by ID. Again, we don't have any logic here, which will, right now it will just throw an exception out. Then we have only 3 methods for this, and get direction, which also we need to implement. So this is the repository which we'll be using. And then the screen. Let's talk about the screen. In our application, right, we have only 2 screens. This is a home screen, you can see, right? We have a home screen, then there's some widget at the bottom, right? Just 2 screens, that is home screen, and then you can see search place screen. That is when you click on the input field, you can see this is a search place screen. So only 2 screens we will be discussing about this. So that is home screen and search place screen, which again we don't have. If I try to search something, right, it just repeat the same thing at the bottom, right? You can see there's no logic implemented here for this. Okay, and I think this is the skeleton. So if I try to book, right, nothing happened. It just says select both source and destination. We don't even see the map also, right? And then if we cancel it, nothing happened. So this is a basic skeleton application which now we will start implementing, adding the Google Map and all, right? So now let's go back to our presentation. Hold on. Okay, so talking about our first feature, which is to add Google Map and displaying the device location, right? So this we will be doing it. So coming to the pubstack.yaml, as we discussed already, these are the 5 packages that we'll be using, right, in our application. So let's do this. So coming to the home screen, so we will start with the main screen actually. So main screen, this is the main .tar, right? So this is where application start running. Now, as I said before, we will be using Riverport as a state management, right? So then you might, people who know already, we have to start with the provider scope. We need to provide, this is like we are giving multi-provider, multi-block provider and stuff like that. So in Riverport, it's way easy. All you need to do is just wrap with the provider scope. Oops, hold on. All right, so you can see provider scope. You can see we just need to wrap this widget with the provider scope. Now you can use provider pretty much everywhere. There's no other setup that we need to do. All right, so we have a provider scope ready. Let's go to our this is how you generate a route. Normally we have sort of home page and all that stuff, which we won't be doing. We have a separate route generator, so you can go inside this. Here you can see if it is a home screen, we are just going to the home screen there, and if it's a search place screen, right, and then we are going to the search place screen. This is how we are generating route between the screen, right? So as I said, we only have a 2 screen, that is home screen and then the search place screen, right? Okay, so let's go to the home screen, and if you go to the home screen, you can see we have 2 widget, that is Google Map widget and the bottom location input. So bottom location input is basically nothing, which I have shown you before. This is the this widget just represents this box, okay, and the top one right now it's a white color, right? Now we will be adding our Google Map on top of this, so let's add this. So let's go to the Google Map widget. As you can see right now, we just have a container only. Now I'm going to add Google Map, so Google Map. All right, so it required some initial camera position, so I'll be using camera position. All right, then this camera position required target, zoom, bearing, tilt and all. I mean, target is a required field. Then target required, I think, lat long, so I will be adding lat long. All right, then here we need to pass the initial the position. So I have already the location here. I mean, it's a hard-coded one, so I have this. Now if I run the application, right, you should able to see our map up and running. So you can see our map here, right? Now let's add few more parameter to this. So let's come down here, not this. What we'll do, we will have a zoom of 15, which we will get enough zoom to, I think this is our Bangalore location, I believe, the hard-coded one, right? So we are in Bangalore now, I think somewhere near Kuban Park and all, so that is fine. Now we have a location ready. Now let's talk about our device location. So what we can do, Google Map has few more parameters, that is my location button. So let me just make it enabled to true, and then we also have my location enabled, which is true. But before that, we need to make sure your location permission is enabled, and yeah, so that we can get the device location there. So which we won't be covering all this permission asking and all, but basically you should get this button at the top. You can see here, right? This button you should be getting after I added these 2 parameters. So let's zoom it a bit. I mean, if I click on this, as you can see, this is our location here. So I think this covered our first topic point, that is to display our current location. Now coming to the second point, right, this is how we add Google Map and display device location. Now coming to the second point, we need to select the drop up and pick up and drop location using the Google search API, right? First we need to search the API, so let's talk about that. So now what I'm going to do here is that, let me just avoid this one by adding const. So right, okay, fine. So now we need to discuss more about this location thing. So let's forget about the map now. I'm going back to the home screen, and here you can see bottom location input, right? Here, this is the code. Now if I go inside this, you can see we have a two text editing controller, which we all know what does it do. So we just have a pickup controller and drop controller to store the variable data for this, right, within this controller. And then there is something called write request detail, which will be storing all the detail which we need and then send back to the server, and then the driver will get the request, and then whatever we want to do, we can proceed it further, right? So yeah, so this is how we init controller, and then the disposing the controller as well. And yeah, this pretty much cover everything. Here you can see, I mean, I have, instead of writing all code at one widget, I have made it, either you can create a separate widget for this, like pickup location, or we can have some method to make our code look simple and easy to read. So here you can see get pickup location. That what does it do? You can see that pickup location here, right? The input text. This is how we can get pickup location, and then the get drop location will get this only widget, so that we have a refactor of code a bit, right? And then here you can see we have a get pickup location. The moment you click on that, you can see on tab we are going to one method called get location again. So we will be, I mean, instead of, you can either implement within it, which will make our code more messier. So that's why we can extract all the method to another method, right? So here you can see this is the get location. Now the moment you click on the get location, you can see we are navigating to some new screen called search place screen. This is the second screen we are talking about. So it will go to that screen, get the location, and it will store in here. Then we are setting each location, like where's the short name, and then the latitude, longitude, we are setting it. So this will come later. First we are navigating to the search place screen. So let's go to the search place screen and see what this guy is doing. So here, this is the search place screen, right? Let me just click on this as well. So this is the search place screen, which we have, you can see, right? We don't have much. So on the app bar, we have a search place, which is this top search bar, and here body, we don't have anything. Basically what we can do here is that we can load all the caches, the location which we search before we can list here, which we are not doing. So this body doesn't do anything here. The app bar will do. So you can again want to see get search action, right? So if you go to the get search action, we have again the moment we click on this, you can see search, show search, right? This is not some custom method, it's a Flutter method. The moment you click on this, you will see this search delegate. The moment I click on this, you can see this new search app bar and all, right? This will be done by Flutter. So we have to create custom search delegate. So this is what it will do. Now coming to here, right? You can see right now if I type something, you can see the same text is coming back, right? So this logic is coming from here. So if query build suggestion, if query is not empty, return text. So this is the logic which we are doing here. So whatever you type, we are just returning the same text to the same one, right? But we don't want to do that. We want to load list of place which is coming from the Google, right, cloud. So we will be doing that. So now we already talked about the river port, right? So I will be using river port. So what I am going to do is that return, right? So you might have used provider, consumer and all. So this is where consumer come to the picture. So consumer, you can see here, right? We have a builder, and then I'm going to put it like this. Oops, hold on. Right, so we are going to return to consumer. Now here you can see we have a 3 parameter. This is how river port works. So if you are wondering how this context, child, ref, incoming, this is how river port works. And more on that, I think, as I mentioned, we have a talk on the evening. Probably you will get more idea about this. Basically what we are going to do is that we are trying to consume and then rebuild the widget within this list only. Okay, so we are not going to use context for that. It's a good practice to put underscore if those field which we are not using it. Even the child also we will not be using. Now the only ref, that ref is to read our provider. So let's see how we can read. So you can see final. All right, this is a location list state. So I'll search place state, all right, place state, and then here we are going to read ref dot read. Okay, this is how report works. Whatever provider you want to read, just write ref dot read, then you will get the provider. Now here you need to write what provider that you want to read. So if you go to our state, right, which we haven't discussed before, we have a list of states. So in this case you can see direction state, Google Play state and all, right. We want to know about the Google Play state, right. So let's go within this, and here you can see place provider. It's again provider. Report has a lot of provider, normal provider, then future provider, then we have a state notify provider. There are a lot of provider. So this is the simple example of how future provider works. So let me just write a few code and then you will get more ideas. So basically we are going to use this place provider. I'll just write place provider, all right, and then store this. Okay, and we need to hold on. What is this error about? Yeah, so here we need to pass some parameter here. That is what it is asking. I'm going to pass the query. So what happened now? Whenever you type something, right, this will call ref.read. Then actually this is not a read. We will be watching it. So difference between read and watch is that read is just a reading. Watch means wherever there is a change in data, like when we get data or something like that, then we will be rebuilding this widget only. So this is how we read. And then now what we are going to do, I'm going to return place state dot. Basically let's go inside this. So if you go here, right, we can see place provider, then we can see ref.watch repository provider. I think we already discussed about repository provider, and you can see get place list. We will get the list of place by query. So if I type BT, then the place related to BT will be listing out. So let's see how it is implemented within this. Now this is our repository which we discussed in the beginning, right? And if I go to the implementation, right now we don't have anything here, just throw exception, right? So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to return this. So what I will be doing first, final response, I will be getting the data from the API. So we need to call await first, right? And then first we need to import HTTP to call the network. So let me just give it a HTTP and then await HTTP, right, dot, then get. As you can see at the top I have commented out some code. This is basically the URL to get. I don't want to type, so we can just simply use this and paste it here, and then we might need to import this as well, and the API key. So we need to generate API key to use this location, so you can get that from Google Cloud. And yeah, I think you need to enable billing account as well, but I have the API key ready. And if you click on the Google search place API, right, you can see there is a long list of the API. So this is basically coming from Google, not from our Springboard or any other backend. So this is coming from the Google only. So yeah, so what this will do, this will get the list of place which you type in the text field, right? So once you get that, then we will be mapping it to our class, model class. So what I'm going to do now here, so I will do final data equal to, then we need to JSON dot decode, not decoder, and here we need to pass response here dot body. So whatever data we get, we will be just decoding it and storing in this data. Okay, so so now what we can do here is that now we can return our data here. Now what is, you can see we are expecting a list of Google suggested place, right? So we will be returning this. So before returning, I'm just mapping it. So I'm expecting a list of Google search place, and then dot from. Why do we need this? The data which we getting from backend, we might need to map to our list of Google. That's why I'm doing, otherwise we will get some error back. All right, so this is how we will be doing. And let's just create data dot, right, and then we have to map it. I'll just map it. Okay, and this will be mapped to our Google search place. So Google search place, right, dot from JSON, and here I'm going to pass then dot to list. All right, so basically this list, right, long list will, what it will do is we'll get the data, this JSON from the Google API, and then we are mapping it individually one by one, and then storing, converting it to a list, and then returning it. Basically the moment once this method is finished, we will get list of Google placed, all right, suggested place. Okay, So now we have the this ready. What we can do here is that we can just come back to our where's that custom search delegate here, where we are reading it, right? So once we get that, we'll get this data in the place state. So then we can write this again. One more method, very useful method, which I think Report provide. So if you click on this, you can see we have a data. If there is a data, what do you want to do? If there is an error, what do you want to do? We can do it here. And if there is a loading, then we can. So this is a, I mean, pretty easy. Instead of handling exception, custom, we can have our kind of a built-in sort of thing. So you can use this. Now, if there is any error, we can simply return error widget, right? This is again, it's already written. So let me just write this error.toString. All right. So if you are wondering what is this in error, we just have a text widget which is returning the error. And if it is loading, right? So we will be returning. Right, so loading widget. So again, if you go inside this is just a circular progress bar which is loading here. Okay, so what if we get the list of place, right? So then we need to return right, list view dot builder is what we'll be using, and here you can see let me just cut this. Then I'll be returning, so we will be getting list of Google suggested place, right? So let me just come here. I'll be returning Google place cut. I think this is again something which we haven't discussed. This Google Place cut content the list of the single list of cuts. So this is the code. We can look into the code in a minute. So what it is expecting a suggested place. So I am going to add that. So final what I'll be doing, this is a Google suggest place equal to, then we'll be getting, so this data is a basically data list of suggested place. So you can say list of index. So each place will be stored in this variable, and then we will pass the same variable here as well. Then on tab, what do you want to do when you click on the tab, which we will be handling it later. So what is this type? Place, right? So we can say place detail here. Okay, so I think this should do the work. Let's start running our application and see what we are getting if we search. Okay, so I'm going to the search, and if I type bt, you can see we are getting some error called Google suggest place is not a subtype of string and dynamic map entry dynamic return. So there is some issue with our backend. So let's go to our repository here, and here you can see I have forgot to put this. This is, I mean, something which you will be doing in the debugging when you debug, right? So we will be getting in this sort result of prediction, not just E here. So you can see I'm passing E here instead of E. What we will be doing, we will be passing this data of prediction. So it's in this format you will get data. Now if I restart application and if I try to, let's hold on. Okay, we are getting the same error again for some reason. Let's see. JSON of data dot respond data of prediction. So hold on. So what we will be doing, I will do this. This is a prediction list, I believe. So let's do one thing. Final response equal to, I will store this is here, then I will map this, and then this is same thing, this is same E here. Okay, then the respond is, this is, the name is already defined here somewhere. Okay, fine. So I'll say map data. Oops, not here. Map data, and let's see. Basically we need to know how it works by seeing the map. So this is what I prepared and it's supposed to work. Let's see. I have changed a bit. Okay, so you can see now we are getting list of place here. So BDM second stage and all that stuff, except we are getting some range error here, which we will be working on. So how can we fix this? Now to fix this, we can go back to this view. This require, we need to provide the item count. So I'll be providing item count, and it's a basically data list dot length, and if I save it, the error is gone. So this is the list of place which I'm talking about. So you can see we have BDM layout second stage and all that place is coming from here. Now if you go to the Google Place card, right? So this is the location. So you can see the leading icon, right? This is a leading icon, and this is a title, this is a subtitle, and basically this cover all the place. Now what do you want to do? We want to click on this. When you click on this, you get the place detail and then come back to our home screen, right? So for that, first we need to fix our repository here. You can see at the bottom you have a get place detail. Right now this list, right, this list doesn't contain latitude and longitude. What we need is, we need a latitude and longitude of this place, right? Now to get the place of this latitude and longitude, we need one more API, that is Google Search Detail API. So you can see here, this is the second API which we are talking about, get place detail. So what I'm going to do, I'm again going to do the same thing. So there is final response, right, equal to, then again we have to await, then http.get, and then here we need to provide the URI. Again, I'm just going to copy this existing one. This again, you can see here, if I go to this URL, you can see this is the Google URL, place detail dot place slash detail, right? So this will get the detail of the place. So I'm just going to cut this, semicolon this. Once we get this, then I'm going to map this. So data equal to, what we will do, JSON dot decode, then we need to pass response dot body. All right, and then we will be returning. Now again, this is a map data, this is a map. So we need to, what we need is, we need a Google place detail object, right? Then we need to convert this into Google place detail dot from JSON, then we can pass this data. All right, so this should do the work. Let's see. Now I'm going to search the place again. All right, so if I click on this, okay, maybe we are getting some exception. Oh yeah, correct. So if you remember, when we click on this, right, yeah, let's go to our home screen, Google search place screen, and here we have this custom search delegate. Here you can see, right, we have on tap. You remember, right, Google Place cart, which we are displaying the list. The moment you click on any of the tab, right, what we will be doing, we will be first closing the screen. So navigator dot pop will close the screen, and then we need to pass the data on tap callback. Then I'm passing the same data which we got, so place detail. So what it will do, the moment you click on any of this place, right, we are just closing it and going back to our home screen. Not home screen, actually, correct, home screen. It will go to the home screen, and let's see, bottom layout location. Here you remember we are navigating to this source, right? So this source search place screen. So now once our work is done, search place is done, we will get the selected location here. Then we are setting the data manually. So controller text, what is that, pickup controller, yes, in this case just a pickup controller, then request detail and all. All right, so let's run the app and see what we are getting now. We should be getting the text field up and running. So fine, so let's run this. So if I search now BDM, if I click on BDM, you can see we got a BDM layout ready. So this means we have the BDM latitude, longitude, all the detail, we have it here. Now the good thing, easy thing is that now the same thing follow the drop location. So we don't need to discuss about drop because it follows the same thing. So if I click on this and if I type Kormangala, you can see the moment I click on this, you can see now BDM layout and Kormangala. Now all we need to do is just get these two location and draw the direction API, right? That is from BDM to Kormangala, how much, what is the direction, path and all. So this is again Google Cloud will provide. We just need to call the API and we will get the direction. So we will be using this. Now coming to this one, right? So the moment I select BDM layout and Kormangala, right, I don't want to press any button. Just the moment we select both pickup and location, we want to call the direction, right? So for that, what I'm doing is that I'm just calling the search direction. You can see, right, in the both case we have, the moment you click on the get location, then we have a search location, right, search direction, sorry, my bad. And here we are checking whether the source and the destination is not empty. If it is empty, then I think we have seen it before, we will be getting some select the pickup location and all that stuff. But here you can see we have the moment we click on both pickup and location, we are just calling the callback method called on location selected. So what do you want to do once the both location is selected? So we need to go back to the location selected, And now coming to the home screen. So this is the home screen which we have Google Place widget, which we have a widget, and then we have a bottom location input. This is the bottom location input, and we can see on location selected. Is that on location selected, right? Yeah, on location selected. So once location both pick up and drop location is selected, what do you want to do? We can implement within this. Now this is where we use Riverport again. So so what I will do, I'll call the direction API, right? So again, we need to use ref.read. As I mentioned, to read a provider, we need to use ref. So since we see, you can see if I type ref, we are not getting any ref here. Ref means we will be getting error. Now to use Riverport in any of the widget tree, we need to wrap it with a consumer widget. So here you can see at the top. So those of you who are new to Riverport, it will be little difficult to digest it, but you will get there. I mean, instead of you remember in the provider we use context.read, or even in the Flutter blog as well. So that we don't need. We just use ref. Now in this case we are not able to find ref. That's why we will be using this as a consumer stateful widget. Alright, so once we do this, this is all you need to do. And yeah, I think we have to make sure this is a consumer state, and this is also a consumer state. Oops, consumer state. Correct. So this is the consumer state. We have it. Now we can use ref. You can see its color has changed. So ref.read, right? And then we need to read direction provider. So as we discussed, we have a state for direction provider. So this is what direction provider will do. We will discuss more on that later. So basically what I'm trying to do, I'm just calling the direction provider. Now since this is a state notifier, you can see it's a state notifier provider. This is a more complex, and actually this is recommended if you are building a bigger application, right? So you need to use, make sure use state notifier provider to do that. So yeah, state notifier provider, direction provider dot notifier dot get direction. So we are calling provider and then saying okay, get direction. All right, so here in the direction we need to pass location detail here. So what direction for what, what is the source and destination. So since we already have it, we can simply call this and the pass location detail which we got from the previous screen. So yeah, so this will get the direction, but that doesn't mean it will get the direction. We need to still work on we need to display the same direction in the map as well. So this all work we need to do. But basically when you go to the get direction, right, so we can see this is more like a in Flutter blog we have a emit, or before it was also emit state sort of thing, right? So that is what is doing. So state equal to direction loading state. So what do you want to do? Whatever you want to do, you can do, and then we will call the API, and then direction loaded state. Once direction is loaded, you can say direction loaded, and if there is any error, you can handle like this as well. Now go to the get direction. You can see again we came to the same repository, and if I go to the implementation, right, again we don't have any implementation here, right? So it's again throw a method exception. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to cut this method exception, and then it's pretty similar to what we have before. So what I'm just going to store this data in the response, and this is a pretty long URL. So let me just call it await http.get. And here we need to pass all the list of API here. So I'm just going to copy this and paste it right here. All right, so this will get the direction. Now what I'm going to do, final data equal to json.decode, and here we need to pass response.body. All right, so then I'm going to return since it is expecting a direction, so I'll be write directions dot from map or from JSON, then the data I'm passing and the location detail anyway which we are passing in the beginning. So what this will do, this will get the direction detail here. Okay, we need to change this map to data. All right, so this will get the direction, our direction here. Now we need to handle the direction, so we will have to go back to the map which we discussed before. Let me just go to the map widget which is inside widget, Google Map widget. So here right now we don't have anything, right? Just a map, camera position on the stuff. Now we want to show the direction, right, from the source to destination. So for that, first what we need to do, we need to listen to the direction. So what we are going to do, again we need to access Riverport here. So what I'm going to do, let's see, we have a Riverport access here, right? We don't have it, right? So what we can do, again we can change this to consumer stateful widget. and then here it will be a consumer state, and this will be a consumer state. Now we can listen to this state, right? So what we'll be doing, final, and then this is a direction. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say direction state here equal to ref dot watch to listen to the provider, and then direction provider. So this will listen to whenever there's a direction loading, direction error, direction loaded, we will trigger this state. All right, so now what we want to do, we want to draw marker. First we need to draw marker from source to destination, right? To draw that marker, you can come here and you can see there's something called marker here. So I will be doing this marker, and then this expect a set of marker. So let's do one thing. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to check first direction. If direction is right, direction loaded state, right? If it is loaded state, then we will load the marker. If the direction is not loaded state, then we can return empty the marker, right? So let's grab this brace, and then if it is loaded, hold on, what is this error report, null can't be assigned to type of set of marker as const. So we need to remove this const now, and then we can change this camera position to const here, right? So once we get the direction, whatever marker you want to show, you can load it here. Now what I'm going to do, it's pretty simple since we have logic ready. So direction dot origin marker, and then direction dot then this is a destination marker. So with this we will get the marker already up and running. Okay, now let's talk about how we are going to draw the line between the marker, right? That is pickup and drop location marker. For that we need to again check the condition. So what we can do, direction state is, oops, hold on, not here actually, let's come back here, this is fine. Then we have a polyline. We need to make use of polyline to draw the line. So polyline, and then we need to pass, it's a set of polyline that we need to pass. So I will be passing polyline here. So polyline, and then we need to pass polyline ID. So it will be a unique ID, should be a unique ID. So I will just write it direction. All right, direction here. Fine. So this is one thing, and then we have a point. We need to pass all the point here. So it should be a point. Point, and the point will be we will be getting from the direction state. So direction state. Okay, this is where we need to check the condition again. Let me just cut this. We will be using it in the same time. So again we need to check condition here. Actually I will just cut this as well. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to check direction state is direction loaded state, then we can load the polyline. Otherwise if direction is not loaded, we don't need to do anything. So let's just make it in the parenthesis. So as you can see, if direction is loaded, that means we can start drawing the polyline ID here. So I'm just going to make this const and the direction state here. So direction state dot direction dot, then we have polyline point. As you can see, this is passing list of point let long. We might get an error, and this is expecting list of long. So what we need to do, dot map, and then we need to return let long here, and here this latitude will be e dot latitude, and then e dot longitude here, and then we need to convert to the list. All right, so this should do our work for drawing the marker between two state and then drawing the line between those two marker. Okay, so this, as I said again, the moment we click on this, right, I mean we select the draw location, we are calling this get direction. It will do the work in the background. Once we get the direction, we will come back to here, and then we will start listening to the this direction state, and then we are rebuilding the widget. Now let's run the app and see what is happening here. All right, so I'm just going to select here BTM again, and then I'm going to change drop location to Kormangala, I guess. Okay, so you should get the direction, but I think, let me just zoom in. I guess it is not focused in our map area, but let's see. You can see here, right, we got the direction up and running here, and the black color is the line, I believe, but for some reason it's not focusing. We will get to this in some time. Now let's change our width to this. Polyline width will be 2, and what do we have here? We have a color, so I'm just going to color to blue, I guess. so that way it will look better. Yeah, now I think this look way better than before. Now let's see how how we can focus camera on this. So if I try to change Koramangala to BTM second stage, right? Okay, this is loading, but for some reason, right, the first time it is not loading. So if I click again BTM layout, and if I select the second one, which is Koramangala, if I select this way, you can see our map is not focused. That is where we need to take care about this part. So what I'm going to do, Google Map has one more method called on map view created, right? So there you will get the controller. Now using this controller, we can focus on the camera. So I'll be using this. Now before that, we need to initialize this controller. So what I'll be doing, final Google Map controller, then controller. All right. Okay. Once we, okay, this should be a late. Once we get the controller and we have this, we will just assign this controller to this controller. Okay, now we have the access to controller. We need to focus on that line. So I'll be just using this. Now we have seen ref.watch, right? We can also use ref.listen. Now what is the difference between watch and listen? Listen is to listen to the state, while watch will rebuild the widget, listen doesn't. So you can implement the logic like showing alert dialog, showing snack bar, navigate to next screen. We can do it within this. So again, I'm going to do here. So direction provider, and this is the previous state and next state. I'm just going to rename it to next state. Then what I'm going to do, if state, right, state is direction loaded state, right, then we can navigate, zoom the camera to that controller dot. Here you can see animate camera, right? Then we have to pass camera update here. Oops, camera update, and let's see what do we need to pass here. Hold on. Okay, I think this is unnamed constructor. Yeah, this is we need to pass name constructor. So dot new let long bound. So this is a bound is a concept which we will be using actually to get the map direction within the map screen. So you need to pass bound here. Let me just, padding is a padding between the bound. So here we need to pass let long bound. So let long bound. Okay, and then we need to pass how much south, west and northeast which we need to pass. That we will get it from state dot direction dot. This is bound, and then it's a southwest, and we need to pass northeast. So this will be state dot direction dot bound dot northeast. So what this will do, let's see. Basically what this code will do is that the moment I click on this PDM, right? Oops, now for some reason it's not working. Let me just run it again. Yeah, PTM. You can see BTM here, and then the second one is Koramangala. So the moment I select Koramangala, right, you can see the camera is zoomed toward the location here, right? We don't need to scroll and search the place. We can see this green one is the, I think, source, and the red one is the destination. So this way we cover the fourth point, I believe. We show the map, we get the place, we show the direction as well. Now we need to book the ride. I think this is the third point. Now fourth point, we need to book the ride. The moment you click on the book ride, we need to inform our driver app, which is hiding behind here. So this will get notification. Once this will accept, then we can again rebuild the UI. We can do all our work. So basically this cover all about searching a place, drawing a direction and all that part, right? Now coming to the book. Now the moment I click on the book, right, I should trigger that driver should get that notification saying okay, ride is booked, right? For that, first we need to have a connection, socket connection. Again, this is something which we haven't discussed. So if you go to the Storm client here, so this is empty client here. So this is what we'll be using. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to create final provider. Okay, oops, final, right? This is a Storm client provider equal to, then we will be having a provider. All right, and here we need to pass provider here. All right, so here we need to give, let's hold on, final late client, let's see, client, okay, Storm client. We need to have this let storm client, right? Then we have a we need to define client equal to storm client, and then we need to config it. So storm client dot storm client storm config dot, so here we need to pass config storm config dot sock.js. This is how we are connecting our Flutter app with the backend, that is Spring Boot. So now we are dealing with the Flutter app and Spring Boot, so we'll be doing this. And here we need to pass, so I will be passing the URL, that is socket URL, and here we need to check the connection here. So yeah, basically, I mean, here we need to do all the logic for, you know, connecting the our URL with the, you know, the Flutter app with the Spring Boot project. So you can see here, this once it is connected, you will get this. This is, since we are not using it, we can just cut it out. And here, what do you want to do once we are connecting, right? Connected. So since we don't have much time, what I'll do, I'll just copy and paste the same code here. Basically, this storm client part. So what I'll do, I'll just get the source code and paste it the same here, since we don't have much of a time. All right. So let's hold on. I'm just going to the screen here. So hold on. All right, this is the code. We have a state and then storm client. Okay, this is not the branch. All right, so this will be the code. Okay, so let's go back here. I'll be explaining the same thing, but basically this is how storm client work. We just connect to the Spring Boot, and then you will get this connection. Once you guys heard about subscription model, right? To subscribe to the topic, and then, you know, we can get the notification based on the topic subscription. So this is how we are doing. We are subscribing to the topic called, you know, client, and then we will get the data here. So you can see if the driver accepted the write, you can, whatever you want to do, you can do it here. If the driver is in progress state, you can do whatever you want to do. If it is finished, you can do it here as well. So this is how we are doing. Now we have the storm client already here. Now go to the home page, home screen, and here we will be initializing the client here. So final, right, the client, storm client. All right, storm client here, and then we will be initializing client equal to, then we have a ref dot read. All right, then storm client provider, which we just now created. Okay, this should be a late. We can remove the final as well. So we get the client here already. Now, as you can see here, we need to go to the bottom location widget. At the down, we can see book button, right? Book write button. So right now, when you click on the book write, the button which we have, okay, it's not visible. So when you click on the book write, we will come to this screen, and we are going to book right now. So how we can book? Again, just now we did copy paste some code. We will be using that. So I think we might need a ref here as well. So we will be let's hold on. This is not a stateful widget. We can again convert this to consumer stateful widget to get the state. So consumer state, and then this is a consumer state as well. Now we get access to the ref. So the moment you click on that book button, not this book write button, we can just call ref dot read, right? And then I'll just pass storm client provider, which we have. Then dot send. Here we need to pass the destination where we need to pass. So this will be the location. So this logic are implemented in the Spring Boot, which we won't be discussing. Basically, we are sending data to the server. So here we need to pass JSON dot, oops, hold on, JSON, right? It's not the drawing decode. It's actually encode here, and then we will be passing the data here. So that is write request detail. Hold on. Need to get destination. Okay, we need to pass a map called body, I guess. Here we need to pass body. Then since the body is the type of string, so JSON dot encode, then we will pass this. Alright, so this is the one, and this will be encoding it. Alright, so now if I just come here, JSON.encode, wait, we have a 2 encode, I will not be, okay, dot, okay, so I think this is not required. We can just have this as string dot 2, JSON should do the work. Okay, I think we may need this since it's a type of string. Okay, fine. So we have this. Now if I'm going run the application here, and we may need to search again, I guess BTM. All right, and then I'll search location to again BTM second stage, I guess. Okay, so we have a driver application here, location here. If I click on the book, right, okay, we got some error here. So say it is no active connection, and okay, so there's no active connection and unexpected closed. So there's some issue with the Storm client. Let's go to Storm client, and we have activated as well. /topic /client is correct. Hold on. So let's go to our home screen where we have initialized this. So we have a client.rate Storm client provider. This should work actually. So let's search it again. Let's see whether Storm client is connecting properly or not. So we should have this log. So we are not getting this in the log some reason. Okay, hold on, let me just do one thing. I can run the app again and see home screen has, then dispose should also deactivate this, and storm.rate Storm client provider, which is correct. Okay, I am running our application again. Just wanted to see if Storm is connecting or not. Maybe our server might be down. Okay, so this is where things get a little tricky here. So let's go to the URL. I'll wrap up. Should I go ahead or wrap up? Oh, okay, fine. So since we don't have much time, right, so I will have to rush a bit. So I think there's an issue with the backend. So what I'll be doing, I'm just going to close this URL. I mean the application Spring Boot which we are running. Just close this, and I will open this in the IntelliJ, which I have all the code written in the IntelliJ backend. Okay, so we will see what was the issue there, and I might also need to get hold on, config for this. ifconfig. So we need to have, okay, hold on, terminal ifconfig, and here we need to get the config here. This is the URL which we need to connect. So let me just copy this, run our Spring Boot application manually, and I'm going to go here and then constant, actually this is a URL, right, URL dot. So we will be connecting to this URL. So I think there's an issue with the URL with this, so I'm just going to change it to the different URL. So I will use this and run this. I think we need to do the same for the partner application also. So if I go to partner, hold on, so partner application, so URL, and I will change this one as well, and then I will run it again. Okay, this is done, and this should, now you can see we have a connected at the log. That means it is connecting now. Because of this URL issue, I wasn't able to connect, so I will just run the application again, and this time I'll try to send the request here. So this is the writer app. I'll run the writer partner application again. Okay, so now I will just go to the pickup location, BTM. all right, and then we have oops, BTM second stage, I guess. Then we can click on book. Now you can see the moment I click on book, you can see the notification here in the partner application. Now partner can either accept or cancel the request. Cancel doesn't do anything, while accept will accept the request. We still need to handle this. We don't want to click button again and again. So what I will do, I'll just make it first. This will be in the loading state, right? When you know, till the driver accept the request. So we need to go back to the home screen. Not actually bottom screen, where we have this book right button, right? We need to put this, wrap this, cut this, then we will be wrapping this as a consumer widget. Then here we need to check the condition. So what I'll do, just cut this, all right, and then I will check, hold on, if, right, final right state. So this will be the state, and then ref.rate. Then we have a right request state provider, and okay, this is a watch again. So we will be watching it. Then if, right, if right state is right, hold on. So right request conforming state, right? If it is conforming, then we can return circular center child circular progress bar. Okay, so we will be returning loading screen. Otherwise we can return the existing the button layout thing. Okay, that is done. Then we also need to handle one more thing. We need to go inside this, and we need to update one more thing. So here ref.rate, then we have a right request state provider dot notifier dot update to book conforming. All right, now if I just run the app, hold on, we have some error somewhere. Let's see, this is kind of okay, confirm. I need to put semicolon here. Okay, so let's cancel this, run this partner app again, and what I'm going to do, I'm just going to run our application again. Okay, so this time if I start, okay, BTM, and then if I select BTM second stage, and if I click on the book right, you can see our loading screen. I mean, till the driver accept, we can see this loading screen, right? So this is what we will be seeing here. Now the driver accept, we don't want to use this, right? I mean, right now driver can either cancel or accept. If driver accept, then we will be showing the different screen, right? For that we need to listen to the state again. We need to go to the home screen, and if you guys remember in the first part, we are showing this bottom input widget, right? So we will be hiding this, in the sense we won't be showing this. For that again we need to listen to the state, right? So what I will be doing, I will use again here, right, hold on, consumer widget here. So I will wrap this inside consumer widget here. All right, oops, so I will close this too, and we won't be using context and this as well, and we can rename this as a ref. So final, okay, this is a right state, right, state equal to, then ref dot rate, then right request state provider, again not rate, it's a watch, so we'll be releasing. So if right request, oops, if right request is right request, if it is confirmed, right, once the driver confirm, then we don't want to show this UI. Instead we will be returning right in progress state, in progress bottom sheet. So we'll be having different UI for this. So let me just come here, right state dot right request detail. Okay, fine. So I think let's just have this one, hold on, I'll just cancel this. You can see here, the moment I accept, you can see the both has this and this one as well, right? Now same thing we can have, we need to draw the same direction here as well. This is a hold on, this is a driver state, right? This is a driver state. So you can see right in progress, this pickup location is from here to here, and then this is a drop location which we will be showing. So yeah, I mean, we haven't covered because we are running out of time. I was expecting to cover this, but yeah, I mean, we need to work on the, drawing this same, and then real-time tracking as well, finishing the ride as well. Right now, if I try to end the trip, we again need to, see this somehow worked, the ride finish. We need to get the alert here as well. So I couldn't finish. If you guys have question any related to me, you can reach out to me, basically related to, WebSocket and anything like that. But yeah, I think I think I took more time than expected. I didn't cover, so sorry guys, I didn't fulfill your expectation, especially the real-time taking is the reason why you guys are here. But yeah, I mean, we can have a chat if you guys have something to ask me. That will be all. Thank you guys.